I'm happy to be joined again by my friend and amateur investigative journalist, Steve Boffman. Steve's back for another round talking about Kim Jong-un, the highest IQ record holder, so-called. So, Steve, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me back, Randall.
All right, so just let people know what we're going to be doing. We're going to begin. I'm going to talk about a Vice article that was just published a few days ago on the topic of Kim Jong-un. And in there, I'm going to explain why it's important to continue talking about this fellow. And then you're going to take us on a little journey over what you've been looking at and learning, including looking at his website and then some other information you have for us. Sounds good?
Right.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so this is the article I referenced, posted just on July 8th by Ralph Jones, titled "The World's Smartest Man Absolutely Hates Me." And it's on Vice, and I've linked it below if you're interested. Now, as an aside, so Ralph Jones is a UK-based freelance journalist, and in 2013, I debated a UK-based freelance journalist named Ralph Jones on the program Unbelievable with Justin Brierley. I think this is the same fellow, so that's kind of interesting. Small world. In the article, he looks at a couple different things, well, a few different things, but one thing is he looks at Kim's own social media presence and looks at the evidence at the fact that it seems to be inconsistent with being the world's most intelligent person or having the highest IQ. So, for example, Jones notes that on March 14th of this year, Kim tweeted, Marxism is shit. So that was his commentary on Marxist political philosophy, is that it is shit, which is not the kind of thing you would expect from presumably the world's highest IQ record holder. He also has an enduring interest in Elon Musk, almost at the point of like a cult worship. For example, he recently wrote a song titled Elon is Our Sunlight, according to Ralph Jones. I haven't found that on Spotify yet. I'll be looking for it. And Kim also has a history of being notoriously thin-skinned, so I was quickly blocked by him. Steve certainly was as well. And as Ralph Jones says, that Kim, quote, has a history of disparaging his critics and accusing them of supporting sex offenders. It's very disturbing. One thing I disagree with Jones on in the article, he says, quote, one of the few people who thinks Kim is the smartest person on earth is Kim himself. And I take it that when Jones wrote that, he's maybe just expressing a general incredulity toward Kim's claim about being the world's smartest person. But when he says one of the few people who believe it, I have to disagree. I think there's a lot of people that still believe this, largely Christians who have been entranced. Now, of course, I've met many Christians who are skeptics, but also many who are not. Kim just posted this on Twitter a couple days ago. Lord Jesus, I am under persecution on Wikipedia for boldly standing in your name. False accusations are being spread because I confess you as God. But I will not back down. You are my defender. Let the truth prevail and use this trial for your glory. I belong to you. Now, this is very common, I find, among people who are hucksters, predators, and who are just taking advantage of other people within Christian community, is that when others begin to call them out on the viability of their claims, on the truthfulness of their claims, they right away play the persecution card and claim, well, you're attacking me or persecuting me because I'm such a faithful disciple. On the contrary, people that are questioning him are being what Paul in Acts 17 commended as Bereans, good Bereans, testing and then holding on to what is true, but testing everything. Don't just take people's word for it, and certainly don't take Kim's word that he is the world's smartest person, just on his say so. Now, the last thing I just want to say is that from the article is that the Vice article has a lot of interesting stuff about the high IQ subculture, including Jones notes that there are about 100 high IQ societies out there. And there's no regulation of this whole subculture and industry, right? There's no overarching regulation. So you have multiple different societies with multiple incompatible measures of intelligence, each one jostling for position in this subculture and marketplace to give various accolades and promotions. And it's like a wild west of high IQ societies. And the last thing I'll just say is this. Interestingly, Jones quotes from a couple people, one of them in the high IQ society himself, or having been tested for a high IQ. His name is Antoine Finch. And I thought that he had some interesting observations. He says, I think there's probably a little bit of a tendency to be more of a social outcast for those who are in the high intelligence, high IQ subculture. And Finch goes on and he says this: the less abnormal people who score very well on pre-university tests get tracked into existing regular areas. They become doctors, lawyers, very accomplished professors, instead of being in high IQ societies. The contrast seems to be that people who gravitate toward high IQ societies may tend to have a more difficult time socially interacting with others and maybe adapting to the norms of society. And he also, finally, Jones quotes from a fellow named Leake, who says, I think individuals with neurodiversity can sometimes see some psychological fulfillment through scoring highly in IQ tests, and it can be helpful for them. And I say that not only as a general observation, but because uh, you might think that there's some evidence of some of this in Kim himself and his own public persona. Okay, the last thing I want to say about this article from Ralph Jones is perhaps the most disturbing thing for me. He notes that Kim has a Patreon page, which he calls the highest IQ church. So you can donate money to him and support him on his Patreon page. And there he says this: God has given me the title of the person with the highest IQ, not for my own glory, but to reveal his glory. Donors are, and then Ralph Jones comments, donors are assured their money will be, quote, used to help neighbors in need of God's assistance. When you start monetizing the claims that Kim is making, that just raises another red flag and is another reason to look more closely at it. And even though some Christians believe they've heard enough about Kim Jong Un, and they believe, maybe his claims aren't credible, let's move on, they say. I say there are still many people who accept his claims. I mean, look at this tweet up here right now. It has 10,000 likes. And it's been retweeted more than 1,000 times. So there are a lot of people who are still taking him seriously and supporting him, including financial support. That deserves attention, and that's what we're going to be giving it today. Okay, so we thought that the place to begin would be with Kim's own website. So this is the 202society.org, where it says official world record for the title, The World's Highest IQ Person Now, unquote. Interesting phrasing there. I'm going to skip down to the English section of the website. Okay, so Kim, Dr. Oh, so it says Dr. Young Hoon Kim. Hmm. Steve, tell us about what's going on here with the accolades.
Yeah, first of all, let me just say to the folks who've been telling us to just let this one go, saying this is not a big deal, Kim is fooling millions of people and he's monetizing it. And the people he's fooled include a large chunk of the Christian press, which has uncritically repeated his claims to their audience. So this is an important issue, and we need to be talking about it. I want to let people know that it's very, very easy for you to do your own work. Within 5 minutes, you'll be able to see lots of red flags about Mr. Kim. Um, like go to his website, 202society.org. We have his cognitive science page right here. You'll notice that in appealing to verification for his world record title, he refers to an organization repeatedly, an organization called Official World Record. All you have to do is go to the Official World Record site, just Google Official World Record, and you will immediately see that this is not a reputable organization. This is nothing more than a certificate mill that will offer you your own certificate for a world record. Why does Mr. Kim need to keep mentioning this organization if he really is widely seen as the highest IQ holder? Because he isn't. He's being endorsed by a lot of very shady organizations. Also, another indication of his dishonesty is, let's take a look at his what passes at his website for his CV.
Hey,
Um,
Steve, one thing that before we move on, You had just mentioned this to me, and I thought it was worth highlighting. So we read here, he was named as number one with the world's highest IQ by Reader's Digest. So obviously, everybody goes to Reader's Digest when they want rigorous study of intellect. But what do you say about this accolade?
Well, it's true. I found the Reader's Digest recommendation of Mr. Kim, and it basically copied stuff from his website and repeated it in their presentation. So he's correct that Reader's Digest did repeat the claim that he was, or did present the claim that he's the world's record highest IQ holder, but clearly Reader's Digest didn't do any research. More interesting is he also reflects. Oh, go
Can I
ahead.
just interject one thing on there? What bothers me here, one thing that bothers me here is the phrasing. He said it says here that he was named number one with world's highest IQ by Reader's Digest. That suggests that they undertook some sort of independent process. But what you're saying is no, they just repeated at some point in their magazine, some information about Kim that he's been promoting, but not that they undertook an independent assessment. Is that fair?
That's correct. It's quite misleading. There's a big difference between an organization, a newspaper reporting that you have been named the number one, as opposed to naming you number one themselves. So he's being a
Okay.
little dishonest here. Yeah. Now with CNN, I was not able to find any indication that CNN has ever mentioned him. And AI, which has much better search engine skills than I do, couldn't find anything either. So I think he's probably making up a lot of these claims. But one of the most striking, these endorsements, but one of the most striking things that's come up for me in the past week or so, Randall, is the near total absence of prominent intellectuals in the high IQ and high intelligence world who are willing to come out and endorse Mr. Kim. Um, I'd like to talk about two of them right now. These are two people who, by all accounts, should be very eager to respond to inquiries and say, yes, Mr. Kim has the world's highest IQ, because these are people who have worked with Mr. Kim and are friendly to Mr. Kim, have no axe to grind with Mr. Kim. But when it comes to asking them point blank, do you endorse Mr. Kim's claim to having the world's highest IQ? They go silent. So let's take a look at Tom Chittenden of the Giga Society. Professor or Dr. Chittenden seems to be a very polished, impressive scholar with two doctorates in high-tech things. He's also named here at the Giga Society website, which I think is mainly a Kim Jong-un self-promotion operation, but it names Tom Chittenden as the president. The website also has clearly endorsed Kim as having the highest IQ, and has, even though it doesn't have a whole lot of information at this website, it has a whole page donated. You can see it in the top right-hand corner of the screen, a whole page donated just to Kim's alleged 276 IQ. So, by all appearances, Tom Chittenden is a great supporter of Mr. Kim. But I contacted Mr. Chittenden. Well, first of all, on July 8th, Kim procured an endorsement letter from Dr. Chittenden, and it was very favorable. But the most striking thing about that letter, which Kim posted on Twitter, Twitter X, is that in this letter, Dr. Chittenden does not endorse Kim's claim to being the person with the world's highest IQ. He says lots of things about how smart Mr. Kim is, but he does not endorse the world's highest IQ claim. There's the letter. You can read it. But that did not stop Kim from misrepresenting the letter. Within hours, he posted the AI account, a summary of the letter. I don't know how it got up on AI so quickly, but AI misrepresents Dr. Chittenden's letter as endorsing Kim's claim of having the world's highest IQ. But that is wrong. The letter speaks for itself. So Kim is not getting what he wants from Dr. Chittenden, so he's making it up. I also was surprised because
Can
I
I
contacted.
just pause? So do you know, is this from Grok or Grok, whatever, or another AI source? Do you know the source he got this from?
I do not know.
Okay.
He just posted it at Twitter.
Okay. So are you saying that so it's is it fair to say then the AI misrepresents the content of the letter and then Kim quotes the misrepresentation without correcting the misrepresentation?
He posts the misrepresentation without correcting the misrepresentation.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
the only reason he would want to post this is because of that misrepresentation.
Right. Presumably, yeah. Okay. So it's kind of you know what I don't know if we talked about this last time. A good 10 footer like in a car is it's a car a 10 footer is a car that looks good from a distance. The closer you get to it, the more problems you see. Some of the claims with Chittenden, you're saying they look good as a 10 footer in that letter, but actually you look closer, he doesn't actually endorse him as the world's smartest person, and Kim's misrepresenting him here as having done so. Fair?
Right. And
Okay.
this is the whole big deal right now is Kim
Yeah.
wants. Yeah. So I also contacted Dr. Chittenden and asked him point blank if he endorses Mr. Kim's claim to having the world's highest IQ, and he does not want to answer. So what do we make of that? This is someone who should, by all accounts, be a prominent Kim ally, not willing to endorse his number one IQ claim.
So
Um,
I threw up this quote. Is this Chittenden or is this another person? No.
no, this is another person.
Okay, so we'll back up to here until you're
Yeah.
ready. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Are we not recording then?
Yeah. No. Yeah, we're recording.
Okay. Chittenden did not deliver for Mr. Kim, which is very odd given the apparent endorsement of Chittenden's organization of Mr. Kim. Something funny is going on there. Dr. Chittenden did refer me to a Jason Betts, who's active in the high IQ community. And Dr. Betts, the only thing he sent me was the Ralph Jones article that you just mentioned, where he is mentioned as not endorsing Kim's highest IQ claim. In that article, he says something about Kim has an IQ of about 160 or 170. So Mr. Betts is not endorsing Kim. We also have another individual. If in Kim's verification, he refers frequently to an organization called the World Memory Championship. And if we could go to that email screen now, the World Memory Championship was founded by a guy named Raymond Keene. And Kim is widely using the World Memory Championship as having conferred number one IQ on him. I contacted Mr. Keene, and Mr. Keene, if we could go to the both of the other email also, Mr. Keene seems unaware that Mr. Kim was using the World Memory Championships to support his IQ claim. He also did not want to come forward and just say yes or no as to whether Mr. Kim is the world's highest IQ holder. So Kim is striking out on getting prominent people, in fact, anyone for that matter who's respectable, to endorse his claim. What he has instead is a whole slew of of unknown, questionable, conflict of interest related organizations that are endorsing him, including some that he's founded. So the when you look up Kim, and I can understand why the media falls for this, when you look up Kim, there's just an overwhelming barrage of organizations publishing, repeating his claim. You have to look behind the scene to see that this is a wild west of high IQ organizations, of single people forming organizations, setting up their own testing protocols, and conferring upon themselves the right to confer degrees of confer intelligence degrees on people. Look at somebody like a guy named Kirk Raymond Butt, who's the founder of a thing that Kim frequently refers to called Global Genius Registry. Dr. Butt is on the advisory board of Sigma Intelligent. He's an editor at Sigma Intelligent Association, which is one of Mr. Kim's, the organization that Mr. Kim founded. He's also on the advisory board of GIGA, which is the organization that is heavily endorsing Mr. Kim. So there's this incestuous Wild West atmosphere in the high IQ world, and nobody with any integrity would actually come forward and say, I have the world's highest IQ. It's not a precise science, and even the people who are experts in this are cringing about Mr. Kim's claim. Um, I also would note that you see Kim frequently referring to Guinness World Records when he names the organizations that are supposedly supporting him. It's very important to know that Guinness stopped doing world record stuff for IQ around 1989 or so because it was imprecise and because it was so scandal prone. So there's just a mountain of material here of evidence of Kim Jong-un being extraordinarily dishonest, fooling the Christian press, and somehow intimidating some prominent people to not wanting to come out and say yes or no about his highest IQ claim. Why don't they just come out and say, no, I don't agree with it? Why
Hmm.
are they being so cagey about this?
One thing I was thinking of in terms of, and this is why one reason I want to begin with the Vice article, because it gave that overview of how it is really much the Wild West in terms of these high IQ societies, that there's like 100 of them out there all vying and jockeying for a position. And as I'm not a high IQ person myself, for me, I'm more like professional wrestling in my level of intellect. And so that's why I gravitated toward that as an illustration of the high IQ industry. In the early 1980s, there were across the North America, there were dozens of regional wrestling promotions, and the World Wrestling Federation eventually kind of swallowed all the other ones up. But they were all jockeying for position, and every one of them had a title holder for like world champion. And ironically, I mean, world champion in Texas was different than world champion in Stampede Wrestling in Canada. And each one could claim to be the world champion, and there's no overarching way to judge this. And that's just like the high IQ industry now, it sounds like. You've got all of these different organizations giving out accolades, whatever. And one person claiming I stand above all as the highest IQ is just on its face an implausible claim, let alone all of the additional problems with Kim in particular.
There's a little music. There's a big music festival, but I think it's a little organization in Winfield, Kansas, that has a competition every year for the world's champion finger-picking guitar player. And if you win that, you get to call yourself the world champion finger picker. And I'm thinking of starting a banjo academy and naming myself the world's best banjo place. And I can go to that world record holder website and get a certificate that says that. And this is the kind of stuff Kim is doing. And it's just shocking to me, even cynical old me, that he's getting away with it. I mean, if you read the comments in his social media posts, they're overwhelmingly favorable. And we're taking a lot of flack for holding his feet to the fire on this. And the Christian media has been completely irresponsible. The Christian Post, to their credit, unpublished an article they did on him, a glowing article that just repeated Kim's own claims, but they never issued a retraction or an apology. But other than that, I know of no retractions from the Christian media, even though
Yeah,
they all.
that's lacking in integrity. I mean, it's more integrity than not addressing it at all. But in terms of journalistic ethics, of course, not taking ownership for your errors or for the fact that you were incautious, a little bit of a cover up kind of feel there is that we're just going to unpublish this and make it quietly go away. So you gave a list to me of some of the, we talked about some of these last time, but the Catholic Herald, the Church Times, Catholic News Agency, Magisterium AI, Gospel Herald, and multiple other Christian news sites or Christian websites that have talked about and promoted Kim's claims. And yet, the first person to do a critique is Ralph Jones, so far as I can see in the media from Vice. I mean, I
Mhm.
think that says something pretty unfavorable about Christian media subculture. Is that fair?
Yes, it is. It's disappointing. I should let you know that I've because I'm hoping you and I can stop doing this soon, and the professional media is going to come along and do its job with this really significant story. So I contacted every one of those Christian media organizations that published articles about Kim. By the way, most of the articles had the IQ claim in their screaming headlines, so they've done a lot of damage, and every one of them now knows that there is controversy about that, about what they said Kim has as this world highest IQ. And I'm hoping that they pick up where they should have started in the first place, do some fact checking, and let their viewers and their readers know that Kim Jong-un is an absolute grifter, a liar, and probably a very unstable man, and succeeding at it.
Again, a Patreon. I've not researched how many followers or supporters he has, but it's concerning to me. And the fact that he said Donald Trump has an IQ of 200 plus is also concerning to me. Anything else you want to talk about before we conclude?
I wanted to send a shout out to there is one Christian channel, not a big one, but it's called Curious Christianity, and they did a pretty good, very good expose on Kim, Christian point of view, but this guy's very concerned about Kim misleading a lot of people. So shout out to Curious Christianity, and here's to hoping that the Christian press starts doing its job.
Well, that sounds good. I'll provide a link to Curious Christianity below then to that video as well, along with the Vice article. Steve, thank you so much for continuing to stay on this and keeping us apprised of where issues are with the world's smartest man.
And you too, Randall. Thanks.
All right. Oh, gotta stop my recording too.